Beautiful souls, do you have a prayer request or want us to send you healing energy today? Would you like us to be praying for your friend or loved one? If this is you, go to worldslargestprayernetwork.com to submit your prayer request. And while you're there, please sign up to join our team of prayer warriors. The angels say prayer not only opens you to miracles, raises your vibration, and helps you heal, but the more you pray, the more God's presence is felt on earth. Feel your angels' love as they surround you right now, and listen for the positive, loving messages your angels intended specifically for you in today's episode.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius. Friends, today we have Katie on the show today. Katie is here to share her angel stories that I know are just going to give you goosebumps and really just bring in a lot of divine wisdom to your heart. I just want to let you know that today is the only episode where I am having construction done on the house. And so it's a little loud inside. So I am outside with my doggies. And so you might hear the birds chirping in the background. We don't have video on YouTube today, but I think that it'll be okay audio-wise. I'm hoping, praying the angels can work that out for us. And just know this is the only day that it'll be like this. But Katie, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to share my two stories with you.
Oh, I'm excited too. Okay, so I'm going to have you take it away and share the first one about your mom in the hospital.
Okay, so this story is really about divine intervention and the power of prayer. So when I was about 4 or 5 years old, my mom, I remember her very specifically at that age. I remember her kind of kneeling over in pain. And that's all I remember because I was only 4. I don't have much memory. And what happened is she ended up having gallbladder stones, which is very, very common. And it was not, nothing too serious. So they said, okay, we're going to get you in 2 days. We're going to get these out for you. Just a basic surgery. So that happened. She got scheduled the day of surgery. It was a newer doctor, and it was such a common procedure that it was not a big deal. They had lots of other doctors assisting and helping. And what happened was this newer doctor actually cut a major artery during this very basic procedure, and she actually bled out and died on the table. They tried to resuscitate her for the time. I'm not sure what the time frame is on that, but for the time that they can, as long as they possibly can, could not get a heartbeat back. So they had actually wrote down and pronounced her time of death. In the meantime that this is happening, there is another doctor who knows her and her family, me and my brother, all of us very, very well, kind of like a family friend as well. And he had heard on some intercom or, something system they had that this was happening. He had gone down and rushed down, and he refused to give up. So he kept doing actually hand CPR. So at this time, for whatever reason, medically, they could not use the other techniques like the AED and all that. So they had to do hand CPR. And they had all exhausted themselves. And so he refused to give up after they said, it's too late. He was able to get a heartbeat back doing hand CPR. And if it wasn't for him coming down, he wasn't even part of the surgical team, she wouldn't have come back. And the biggest part of this story is that my grandmother, my old, tiny little frail grandmother in her wheelchair, the most spiritual person ever, she had also heard. Her and my dad were waiting with us kids. I don't remember this because I was only 4, but she had the whole waiting room pray. And she, was not she did not care. She just said, everybody, you're doing this right now. And she had the whole waiting room praying at the same time that this was all happening. And so they got the heartbeat back. She was in a coma for 3 weeks after that, suffered a stroke from the ordeal, but she made a full recovery. And everybody asks her, did you have an experience? Did you have a near-death experience? And she said, no, I'm so mad. Couldn't I have at least had that? She didn't get that. But she did wake up, and the first thing she said is, how did the surgery go? And then she said, why is everybody standing around me? She had no idea. She thought it was just an hour that had passed, and it's really kind of amazing. So,
Wow. Well, I think
yeah.
that the story is just so amazing on multiple different levels, but I really wanted you to come on the show to just inspire the audience with the
Yes.
story and the power of prayer.
Friends, do you want to get daily guidance from your spirit team, but just don't know how to tune in? Or maybe you've been trying to hear your intuition, but you feel like you're not hearing anything back. Or maybe you're hearing something back, but you don't know if it's your spirit team or not. Let me teach you all of this and more in my brand new 4-week course called Be Your Own Angel Messenger. I'm running this class live September 18th. And if this resonates with you, it's because your angels are trying to teach you how to tune into this information so they can guide you more directly in your life and so that you'll feel more confident following your heart. It all begins September 18th. Be sure to check out the VIP ticket for smaller group lessons. Just a reminder that annual paying members get this course and the VIP ticket free as a perk. Become an annual member before September 17th and receive this course free as part of your annual paying angel membership. Find a link to more info in the show notes below. Now let's get back to the show.
I know that when my kiddo was in the hospital, if you've listened to this podcast since the beginning, then you've probably heard me say that E coded twice when she was younger. And we just were not sure for a really long time. And not only does that give a parent this PTSD energy, but the amount of people praying for her and putting her story into church prayer requests, and just that's why we started world's largest prayer network.com, is to just be praying for people continually, because that prayer really is an intention from your heart. It's an energy that stems from you, starts within you, and radiates out. It's not that you're like using up your energy. Your energy doesn't diminish at all when you're praying for another. It's simply that you're calling in God, universe, source energy. It's going through you, just like energy healing. And it's moving out to the person or people within the world or nature or the planet, whatever it is that we're praying for. And you are physically actually moving energy. So I want people to think about this story that you just told, Katie. And if this is just your grandma inside the hospital praying for your mom, that's just one person channeling God's divine energy through them to your mom. But as soon as she gets others to pray for your mom as well, now it amplifies, magnifies, intensifies the energy of God, universe, source coming through those people in that waiting room, sending your mom the energy, angels, spirit, strength, healing, Archangel Raphael to work his magic, everything that your mom needs to pull her back.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's such a powerful thing that I think, underestimate sometimes. Or for me, I will sometimes forget. The first thing we should be doing is praying, stopping and praying. And sometimes I'll forget, oh yeah, I have to do this first, and then I can figure out the details later. So
yeah. I think there's another piece that the angels want to communicate through this story. And prayer can also be about asking for help. And there is something magical that happens when we humble ourselves and say, God, universe, source, I can't do this alone. I need you. I need others to be praying too. We're not meant to walk this life alone. And as soon as we surrender to that, accept that, there is something that happens where it's almost a receiving too of the prayers that are being given. And so you could imagine that piece of asking for help and receiving help as really your heart chakra opening very, very wide and allowing energy to come in and heal. And so, what the angels just want everybody listening today to know is that it's not just about praying, but it's also learning how to receive prayers, receive help, receive God's energy. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that you use the word surrender, because that alone is so hard to do sometimes, and not know the outcome or not know how it's going to get resolved. So
Mhm.
surrendering, I feel like it's just that full faith. And I do feel like it has some sort of energy, magnetized energy that gets everything rolling,
Yeah. Okay, so you have another powerful story too. I'm going to have you take that one away and share it.
Okay. Okay, this one's not too long either, but it's funny because I didn't think so much of it, but looking back, it really is a big deal. So when I was so the surgery's done, fast forward about maybe 7, 8 years, I'm about 12 years old. I'm walking down the street with my friend. Well, actually, let me go back a second. My mom had told me maybe a couple months prior to this time, she had said to me, it was kind of one of those parent talks. I didn't think much of it at all. I didn't really listen very much at the time, but she had said, Katie, if strangers ever come up to you or stuff like that, you don't go with them. You never talk to them. And she said specifically, this is what caught my attention. If she hadn't said this, I probably wouldn't have remembered it. She said, if someone comes up to you and says, I lost my dog, can you help me find him, or something like that, you don't go. Now at the time, I'm a huge dog lover, and I love animals, so that caught my attention. So now my friend and I were walking down our neighborhood, a really nice neighborhood, lots of houses, lots of kids. We're walking down our block that we do one day, and a car pulls up, and it's an older kind of beat down car. And it's a guy in there, and he says to us, I lost my dog. Could you guys come help me find him? He's somewhere around this neighborhood. I have pictures if you want to come help me look for him. So at this time, believe it or not, it didn't click yet. I was kind of more curious because I was only 10 or 11 years old. Nicole, my friend, starts walking. Okay. She starts walking to the car. And all of a sudden, it was like a lightning bolt of a download that came rushing in of my mom's voice. Don't go if someone lost their dog. And I remembered all of it. And I screamed. I said, Nicole, no. And this all happened in just a couple seconds. Right when I said that, she knew exactly what I was talking about. She was terrified. She ran away screaming to her house. And then it was just me in the sky. I looked at him. I was still there. And he had the fear in his face of just this fear of being exposed, of getting caught. And he sped off as fast as he could. And I caught up with my friend. And so it was really an intense moment, but if it weren't for my mom saying that. So now I, of course, as a child, did not tell my mom this happened until years later. When I told her, I think I was about a teenager now, I told her, I said, this happened. And, you told me not to go if someone is a situation. And she said, Katie, I never said that. I know for a fact I never said that. And so we were just very baffled by that. To this day, I would love to hear your take on it, Julie, who did I hear this from? Because she's convinced it was not her. It felt so real, as if a regular conversation, so that was really interesting, but it was definitely life-saving, divine intervention as well.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, of course. Well, and it's so interesting. I think all of the healers who are listening to this today, all of the intuitives, all of the messengers, all of the channelers are going to get exactly what I'm going to say.
Mm.
There are moments when you're doing this work and you're bringing through messages for people, when your mouth just kind of opens and words are coming out. And I know I've said this on the podcast before, but it bears repeating. It really feels like you're the observer of yourself, almost like a little bit of an out of body experience where you know that you're talking, but there's a feeling when you're processing what you're going to say, and you can almost feel that energy in your brain. It's moving through your brain and then it's coming out your mouth. And that's not happening. And you're like, I have no idea how I am talking at this moment and watching myself speak, but the words are just flowing out. This is a lot of times why when people do a session with someone and then they go back to that person, they're like, what did you say on this? Or what? You can't remember because you were just in the moment, you were channeling what was supposed to come through you. And then it wasn't a thought within your head. Does that make sense? It wasn't coming from your consciousness.
Yes, it makes so much sense. And now it makes me realize that my mom was almost channeling, and she's also very into, but yes, so she was being told to tell me that, and she doesn't even remember. That's amazing.
Yes, 100%. And this happens all the time. This can happen with everyday people because God Universe Sources is just open to working through any one of us at any time. So if this ever happens, don't be scared of it. It doesn't hurt. It's a little weird just in the fact that, again, like I said before, you have no idea where this information is coming from. It's just pouring through.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's a perfect explanation of why she doesn't remember. And it's just so comforting to know that that's how protected we are, and that we all are, is that we have this intervention at any time that we need it. We will be protected, and there's a plan for us. It's just so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing that Spirit was saying to tell everybody is, I think a lot of kids have a similar story where I know I have a story like this where a van approached. My sister has a story like this where a car approached. I don't know if we talk about this enough with our kids, but I also feel the angels just really bringing through this pull of energy that parents, grandparents have that conversation with your child, and specifically talk about dogs because they use dogs a lot, or candy or whatever it might be. Or they might even say, I know your parents and they're at the hospital and we need to go there to help them. There's a really, really great show that we watched a couple months ago with our daughter. I think it's called The Parent Test, and you can stream it on your TV, but they actually test kids, and it's not in a shameful way or anything, but then they talk about it afterwards of what to do differently next time. And it's a really great opportunity to have these deep conversations with your kids and watch how experts present this information too.
Oh my gosh, so it's not that crazy to me because we're working with angels here, but this is exactly what I heard myself of kind of, I was questioning, should I do this story? Is it really, that important, or just stuff like that? And I heard this so clearly that there is a huge purpose for this story, and it's going to be a reminder, exactly what you just said, for us to talk to our kids. This could, be something that somebody needs to hear at this exact time for that reason alone. So that's what I heard as well. So that's just confirmation, and I love it.
Oh, Katie, I love your energy and I love working with you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing your stories.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. To everybody listening, we're always looking for angel stories. We're hiring somebody to come in and help because up until this point, I have reviewed them all myself. So if you submitted an angel story in the past, just know that we might be reaching out to you via email, or hopefully you put in your phone number too, so that we can get a hold of you and have you on the show. But definitely submit your angel stories through the contact form over at theangelmedium.com, or you can submit them through juliejancius@gmail.com. Friends, I love you so much, and just open up your heart to all of the blessings that your angels are bringing through, because they are trying to bless your life and open you to miracles, magic, so much coming through to you. And your angels just said to tell you it all begins with you tuning into your own vibration, feeling your own energy, which I call oneness, and also hearing your own intuition more deeply. Love you, friends. Have a blessed, blessed day.
Beautiful soul, thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Julie. You know I'm all about connecting you with messages from your angels and loved ones on the other side. If you've been listening today and you're super excited and just have to know which angels are around you right now, who's connecting with you, and what messages they have for you, go to theangelmedium.com. Register for a session. You can do a reading with me or a member of my team, and we can help you in making sure that your angels are doing the very best they can to support you and guide you to your best life. If this sounds like you, virtual sessions, they're only offered on my website. Sign up today. And if you're the person who's really excited, you can sign up for my Angel Reiki School to become a certified angel messenger. That's for the healers among us who feel called to grow their intuition to the max and serve humanity with their gifts. You'll learn Reiki, mediumship, how to deliver angel messages, and how to get clients. That's the Angel Reiki School at theangelmedium.com, or DM me on Instagram at Angel Podcast with any questions. Before you go, connect with your angels by placing your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath. Imagine a doorway filled with God's unconditional love is right in front of you. Step into that love and feel it as it fills your body, chakras, and auric field. Now ask your angels, what would you have me know today? And open yourself to the positive, loving messages they have just for you.